I hit record right as it was. I'm stupid. All right, let's go, baby. You know, it's wild. I've been thinking about like the other 2D. Whoa! My microphone is falling over. Think about other 2D platformers from this time. I feel like the Wii was really the revival of the 2D platformer. You know, you got Rayman Origins, Donkey Kong Country, this game. But I think it's wild how, like, Mario hasn't had a good 2D platformer that was actually stand out. Ooh, wrong button. In a super long time. I always feel like that's kind of weird, because, like, Mario Brothers 3 and Mario World, maybe they aren't, like, the most creative games on their given consoles. You know, most of the level themes in Mario World are just grassland. But, they have some of the tightest level design and just platforming of any 2D platformer. So it's always been weird to me, wrong button again, that, like, the new Super Mario Bros. Games they're good mechanically, you know, but there's just nothing interesting about them. I don't know, because I really like the original New Super Mario Bros. I feel like it does everything it needed to do, you know, but, oh, there's an ant in my bedroom. It's October, there's not supposed to be ants no more. There's no interesting level themes, there's no, I need that! No! Okay, I gotta go get the ice power again. Playing on a keyboard and never being 100% sure of the key bindings is fun. I like the original New Super Mario Bros. I have a lot of fond memories of it. I think the level design is really good. I like the idea of having a bunch of, like, actually original boss fights instead of just the Koopalings over and over. Although, I guess when New Super Mario Bros. Brought the Koopalings back, it had been a long time since they'd appeared, so it was kind of a nice change of pace to have them. Oh, how far we've come. But I like New Super Mario Bros., the original. Sure, like, none of the level themes are interesting, but it's super mechanically sound, it's a really good return to form. So I've never understood why New Super Mario Bros. Was what they did afterwards. Like, look at how good this looks. And it's not all, like, it is 2D, but it's not flat. Like, the backgrounds have depth. The character models are pretty high quality. New Super Mario Bros. Is a flat-looking game. I'm okay with taking some hits. No, I'm not. Wait. Ah! I just never understood it. I think if they had skipped over, like, New Super Mario Bros. U is a pretty good game. The main flaw of which is just that it came after two pretty similar games. If New Super Mario Bros. U had been on the GameCube, I feel like it would have been way more well received if, like, New Super Mario Bros. U was the first of the return to form Mario games and also hadn't been on the Wii U, because it's not a bad looking game, but it's certainly not impressive. And it feels like Mario of all franchises. Because, like, I love Kirby games. My favorite might be... my favorite Kirby game aesthetically is Dreamland 3. I think I really love the, like, watercolor aesthetic it has. Gameplay-wise, my favorite Kirby platformer might be this one. Is just, like, all of the modern ones except for Star Allies. Mario, though, I feel like no one's favorite Mario game is New Super Mario Bros. 1 through 4. Because there's 4 of them, and no matter what why are they named the way they are? New Super Mario Bros. 2, even though there's already 2 other New Super Mario Bros. Games that came before it, I guess because those weren't handhelds. It's confusing. But there's no reason to linger on things that aren't that good when this is something that is good, and I like it. I feel like I was 7 years old. I wasn't super plugged in to video game news when this game came out, but I feel like water and spear were two abilities that people had really been asking for Kirby games. Not that Kirby games are like Smash and you've got fans beating down the doors saying put spear in a Kirby game, but I feel like these were kind of no-brainer abilities, you know, water and spear. So I'm happy that they are as fun to use as they are. You know, because there's some abilities that have really cool concepts, but I just don't think they're that fun. Like ESP is really cool, but I don't know. It just feels like kind of a slow ability other than the teleport. It's got two things it can do. You can make an orb and you can teleport. Those are the two things. But spear and water are two abilities that maybe the idea isn't as crazy as like psychic Ness themed Kirby, but they're still good. Oh, I have to shake it. Oh. With my motion controls mapped to the arrow keys. Cool. I wish that the snowballs got bigger the more little guys you had in them. Like that Kirby 64 ability. Maybe when my uncle who works at Nintendo lets me design the next Kirby game, I'll put in a snowball ability. Or just a snowball move. Damn, there's not... I thought for sure there was going to be a portal in there. Interesting. I guess it would have been a pretty short super ability segment if the ability showed up there, but felt like a good place for it. This also feels like a good place for it. There it is, okay. Is there a bowling pin like level where you use this? I feel like there should be. Alright, let's see what dark matter anti-space. Okay. So I'm not going to be able to... And I hit the wrong button again. I had some tropical smoothie. I've got a tropical smoothie next to me. It's a lovely pink flavored one. It supposedly has strawberry, banana, and pineapple, but what it tastes like is pink. I don't know if maybe that's... I cook a lot. I feel like my palate isn't super unrefined or anything, but it just tastes pink, man. Speaking of cooking, there is this halal supermarket by this little shopping center that I get food at after class sometimes, and they have these spice packets, and I got like a karahi masala spice packet that was made this really good stuff, and I mixed it with some chana masala because I had like a little bit of leftovers but not enough for a meal, and it was extremely good, and my heartburn wasn't. No. Okay, shit. Okay, I honestly didn't think I was gonna make it because using the motion controls with the keyboard is difficult. Alright. I really like Tornado, I always have, and I'm so happy that this game added like new moves to it. Ooh, there we go. I never even noticed. Does that deal damage? It does! Whoa! I actually never noticed that. The little backdraft thing. Oh shit, no, I need that. That's unfortunate. I really like Tornado, I was having fun using it. Okay, I really like the Sphere Doomer design, like the 3 little peacock feathers on the bottom. There we go. Also pretty easy with fire, I guess. I need to swap my plus and minus button mapping because I keep pausing when I mean to throw an ability away. Boop. Doo-doo, doo-doo. Do-do-do-do. Oh, I should have done something about that, huh? Do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. I think there's probably, I mean, I know there's a couple like full water levels in this world, which makes sense. It is the water level. But I've been thinking about water levels in video games, and it's wild how, like, so many, like, water levels used to be the bad levels that everyone hated, and they were, like, not fun. Kirby water levels have always been pretty solid. I mean, like, it's not significantly slower than normal. I have full control. I'm capable of attacking with this little water spit, and some abilities even have like underwater movesets. They're limited, but it's still a really cool thing. Like Sword, for instance. Oh yeah. So Kirby is so good at water levels, which is funny because like Mario, the king of platforming, never been that good at water levels. Like Donkey Kong Country was also not super good at water levels unless you had Ungard. When you have Ungard, they're fun as hell. But when you don't, eh. And then Country Returns is like, we're not gonna do water levels this time actually. We thought about it, we looked at the ones we had in the past, not really worth. And then Tropical Freeze brought water levels back and said, hey, actually we figured out how to do them good. And they are good. Tropical Freeze water levels are fast and fun, and swimming actually feels fluid and good. And I feel similarly to Rayman Origins. You know, Wii era games either had bad water levels or ignored them as far as 2D platformers go. Except this game. But, oops, sorry. Or not sorry. Why did I apologize? Oh, there I go. Pausing when I mean to lose my ability. Oh, I didn't even need to use it because I was already using an ability with sharp qualities, cutting capability. Oh well. Like Rayman Legends, after Rayman Origins just didn't have water levels, Rayman Legends was like, hey guys, we also figured it out. The key is to give you full control over your movement and not slow you down a bunch. And guess which game still hasn't figured that out? It's Mario. Which is weird because as far back as Mario 3, you have the frog suit. And like, it makes water levels not only bearable, but in my opinion, pretty fun to be able to like swift swim everywhere. I have a good time in water levels when I have a frog suit. And I feel like if the frog suit's not going to come back, they should just make it the default for water levels, you know? Because they're not fun. Mario games have the worst water levels, and that's weird because Mario games didn't used to have the worst anything. You know what game I miss is Starfy. Like, Starfy games were so cool. You got to swim around real quick. There was a really cute aesthetic. They were almost entirely set underwater, which is like a neglected setting in all media for me. I think the ocean is neglected in general. I don't want to go to space until I know every species of fish. I want to see the deep ocean. I used to be a really big Adventure Zone fan before I found better D&D podcasts. And even going back to listen to older episodes, I'm not as into them as I used to be. But especially after graduation, I just kind of fell off. And I listened to all of Ethersea because the setting sounded cool. But they spent so little time in the ocean. Like, they get special suits to be able to, No! No! Fuck, okay. No, God! They get special suits so that they can move around and breathe underwater. and they almost never actually use them. Like when I heard D&D campaign set in a post-apocalyptic flooded world, my first thought was going to be was there's surely going to be some fully underwater dungeons, and there aren't any. I felt betrayed, frankly. I love underwater as a setting. I think fantasy media especially really needs to pick it up on having underwater areas. Like, give me a high fantasy film about mermaids. Does that not sound extremely cool? Because it sounds super cool to me. Maybe the new live-action Little Mermaid movie will be a backdoor high fantasy action adventure about mermaids. But I just think there's, like, it's why I always liked Aquaman as a kid. You know, early 2000s were the peak of everybody making fun of Aquaman kind of jokes. But I always thought that, like, superhero comics, Atlantis was super cool. All right, go out. Oh my god, I have to motion controls. And I lost my ability. And now Kirby on the little health bar is sad. Oh, now he's good. Okay, we're good. Like, I want them to make more Aquaman movies because I think Atlantis is a setting that's extremely cool when it's underwater. Like Atlantis the Lost Empire, good Disney movie. I like it a lot. It's a really nice change of pace from princess stuff. But as a kid, I was low-key annoyed that Atlantis wasn't underwater. It was in like a protective dome. I thought it was going to be full of mermaids. I want Atlantis to be full of either mermaids or just generally aquatic people. That's my Atlantis dream. I think there's a lot of underexplored settings in fantasy and sci-fi media. You know, like underwater, underexplored. I want more media that's fantasy but underwater. But you know what else is underexplored? Is like underground, like caverns and such. We got Journey to the Center of the Earth. We have the wild, but I'm surprisingly into it, Hollow Earth stuff from Godzilla vs. Kong. But like, I don't know, where's a fantasy setting about dwarves set underground? You know? Like, I'm not a fan of dark elves as a concept, especially because, I mean, like, for one, I don't like the fact that all the evil, like, factions in D&D have to be slave holders. That's nasty. But I especially don't like how they started out being, like, dark-skinned. Also nasty. Nowadays, they're less nasty. They're still nasty, but less nasty. I mostly just don't like them because I think entire, like, civilizations that are just inherently evil is kind of a boring idea. But I do miss 3.5E is, I guess, how I say it, because 3rd and a half edition, I don't know how else I would refer to it. That era of D&D had a pretty big focus on the Underdark. You know, there's a whole novel series about a dark elf, and they live in the Underdark. Did I lose my hammer? God. Wow, I'm bad at this game. I am not focusing at all. I'm just, like, thinking about, I don't need a 1-up. I don't need a 1-up. I'm just going to probably take damage, and it's not worth it. Oh, cherry. Oh my god, I am getting sauced. Ugh. I really hope I didn't absolutely need the hammer ability. Okay. I hope I did that right. I stopped talking for a second because I was like, I'm really gonna focus. And I did do it right. I'm getting the stars. All right, cool. Yeah, I was saying that older D&D had more of a focus on the Underdark, which I always thought was a really cool setting that was honestly kind of neglected because most of it is just filled with evil people and it's boring. And well, I realized like a year ago, slugs! That's what I realized. Oh, these are peak character design. Oh, look at these little guys. Yes. Oh. Every enemy in this game is just, I could eat them right up. Not this guy, though. This guy's boring. I'm a DM. I can just make my own Underdark. We have Underdark at home. So I've been trying to like reimagine the existing, I don't say race, the existing lineages and civilizations. Tell me I didn't miss one earlier in the level. Okay, cool. Cool. I haven't missed any yet. So like for example, there's this thing in canon Dungeons and Dragons called, like, I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Phasres. And pretty much in the days of Elven high magic, Phasres is like, ooh, wait, I have to focus. Middle. Right. Middle again. Left. Middle. Right. Right, okay. And after these like great and powerful spells were cast, there was all this like ambient magic left over, creating these wells called Phasres that are like wild magic, you know, as the residue of powerful magic. They're really hard to control, and that's something in the Underdark, is these wells of magic, which is a really cool idea to me. So in my version of the Underdark, the Dark Elves, the Drow, aren't just evil and they went there because they were evil. They... Focus. They were a faction of elves who thought, let's try to harness the Phasres. There's these wells of extremely powerful magic that we're not doing anything with. And the High Elves were like, hey bro, that's dangerous. I think we should just leave it alone. But they went down there anyway, and the magic turned them purple. And some of them do worship Lolth because she is a spider goddess and they've been underground for so long. But not all of them. Some of them just live underground and are embarrassed of being turned purple and don't want to go back to the High Elves. So now there's like nuance that some of them are like, have this superiority complex, like they were the only ones brave enough to try to harness this magic, even though it didn't go how they hoped it would. But then these other ones are like, yeah, we have like a better understanding of wild magic, but we aren't about the goddess of literal evil, and we're kind of just chilling, you know? I've been trying to, I redid Mind Flayers, redid the Grey Dwarves. I never liked that they were all evil. I didn't like the reasoning provided for why they were evil. It just, especially the Grey Dwarves. Like, I understand that the people who kept them enslaved were Mind Flayers, and that is going to do some stuff to you to be enslaved by Mind Flayers who eat your brains. But taken out of context, this race of people is evil because they were enslaved at one point. So, like, anytime that I would play in the Underdark, that's getting revised to generational trauma and general distrust of outsiders, but that doesn't make them evil. And it especially sucks that these people who were once enslaved go on to become slaveholders. That's gross. And yeah, I am making Dungeons and Dragons PC. Everything is political. Get over it. That was a cool set piece. This is actually a really memorable set piece for me. I remember as a kid, this stuck with me. Although I always did wish there was like a sunken pirate ship level. That would have been cool. I feel like it's not even hard to make fantasy media that's not actively problematic. I mean, sure, a lot of fantasy is gonna have analogs to stuff and could come off as bad, but that's less of an issue if it's obvious that you're at least trying to make fantasy that isn't gross. And I don't even get the vibe that D&D was doing that. All right, nope, nope, go away. All right. I think I'm just straight up gonna ignore the big stone blocks if I can help it, because it just, the motion control, I can't. Ooh, wait, what's in here? Oh, not worth. I have an idea for an Underdark campaign that I want to do. And so that's why I've been doing this, like trying to rework all of the like cultures and civilizations within the Underdark to be neutral. Like not even, like I'm not even taking away the idea of, God, and it took away my thing too, cool. The idea of Driders and evil spider goddess worshipping dark elves. I'm just saying that's not all of them. I don't like the idea of all high elves being lawful good either. I don't like the idea of cultures. I mean, like, I know alignment is more of a guiding hand than it is a requirement, but humans would probably, it's like, you can't quantify it. A lot of people will be like, oh, humans are evil, but are you going to call all indigenous people evil? Like, humanity isn't evil, capitalism isn't. Capitalism isn't inherently human. The first signs of civilization in the world were healed bones because we look out for each other. It's a human thing. So, it doesn't make sense that humans would be considered inherently good or evil, and it doesn't make sense that any other race would be. And by race, I mean species/culture, because race as a term has too many implications for me to feel comfortable using it in a fantasy setting. But I guess D&D has never really cared about the baggage that comes with certain words, especially since the name for where liches keep their souls is a phylactery, which is just a prayer box in Judaism. Why is it called a why is the soul of a dark wizard kept in something called a phylactery, which is a real word that exists in Jewish culture? What's up with that? And not that I'm an expert on Jewish culture. I am a little white boy. I was baptized, but I'm not religious at all. And it's like, there are certain concepts that have sort of been become so far removed from their original culture that a lot of the people of that culture kind of think it's not worth the argument. Like, I have Jewish friends who consider the concept of the golem to have essentially left the sphere of Jewish culture and just have become a world concept. You know, like, to those friends, the golem and its original story aren't definitive anymore. It's outgrown it in a way. But I have other friends who are also Jewish, because it's not surprising, like, there's more Jewish people out there than you think. I've had white people, Jewish people are usually white, but I've had people ask me, how do you have so many Jewish friends? And it's like, what? What are you talking about? There's a good many of them in this world. But yeah, I have Jewish friends who kind of don't associate the golem with Jewish culture anymore just because of how far removed it's become in popular culture. And I have others who are upset about how far removed it's come and think that it's like quintessential Jewish culture that shouldn't have been taken out of context. So it's like, I don't get to have really an opinion on it, but I do get to make the decision to not put golems in my D&D campaigns. You know? Like, it is just a concept that has enough baggage associated that I would rather do concepts that maybe, like dragons. Dragons are not unique to any one culture in the world. Most white people don't even have culture. Like, I've just been, I gotta like script the fucking gameplay videos because I'm going off the rails with these topics. Kirby game. God, 7-year-old me wanted to go into that pirate ship so bad. Okay, I see. That's another thing I always liked about Kirby games is that a lot of the time, at least in more recent ones, like invincibility power-ups are usually used and are like involved in like puzzle solving or something. Like you'll come across an invincibility power-up right before a section of the level design that's like filled with enemies and traps. And so even though you're invincible, the challenge has become navigating that quick enough. I fully didn't know I could do this. Why can I do this? Wild. I think it's neat to make being invincible like an aspect of... Like some Mario games have done that, you know, where you have to run across the spikes before the Star Man runs out. But most of the time, stars in Mario games are just in a hidden box, and now you've got a couple seconds of invincibility. Have fun. I much prefer it when it's like an element of the level design itself, which Kirby games do because they're all good and can't be bad. I think I've talked about this already, but I legitimately believe there are no bad Kirby games. Star Allies is flawed, it's easy and short, but it's still fun while it lasts and has some interesting ideas. And I don't even know what other Kirby games... I mean, there's some spin-offs that are like, why did you make this? You know? Like, Kirby Battle Royale, Kirby... What is it? Kirby Quest? Kirby Clash? Something. Some of those... Oh no, I wanted that. Wait, shit. Is there a way to die? Can I die? Damn it. I think I missed a sphere. I don't want to have to replay this level, but I do want to go for 100%, so... I was disappointed. No! Okay, I gotta go get it again. I was disappointed when Triple Deluxe brought back the big bomb, but instead of being a silly skull ball, it became just like a wad of dynamite with a timer on it. Because this weird expanding ball is so weird, and I really like it a lot. Boom! It's cute. It's a cute little idea. I like the held items. I really do. I think that they hadn't fully come into their own yet in this game. Shoot. But they're fun. Like the little walkie-talkie that controls the other Kirby in Planet Robobot, the like electric pole that extends into the background, and the little cannon hat. Those are all super cool. Oh, I didn't miss anything. Cool. No. Those are all cool. This one, I like the invisibility crystals. I like... Oh my god, I did miss one. I always assume in levels with 4 or more energy spheres that the last 2 are going to be related to a super ability, but I guess not. That's another ants. It's October. You guys should be gone. Ants? I don't like killing bugs. Dang it. But I do kill them because, like, I can't individually carry every ant outside. I remember my parents got extremely mad at me when I was, like, 14, I think, was how old I was. Because there was a dead bird, and I put some gloves on, and I carried it into the woods, and I buried it in a little grave. And it's like, they were upset mainly that I didn't wear gloves when I did it, which is, I guess, fair. But, like, I don't know, man. I feel like, no, I didn't need to do that. But it felt like the respectful thing to do. I feel like animals and insects, especially the really small ones, are so rarely treated with the dignity and respect that all living things deserve. Like a deer on the side of the road that's been hit, that doesn't deserve to be hauled away in a truck and just kind of like thrown wherever they go. Not that it needs a little funeral, it's impractical, but it just deserves more. I like this boss. It's not super memorable, but Fatty Puffer is a funny name. Let's go. It also is a callback to Fatty Whale, a boss that is also not super memorable, but still very fun. I like sea creature bosses in these games. Oh, I remember as a kid being upset that that wasn't a level either. I want to go to... I was just talking about Atlantis. Look at that. That looks so cool. I want to go there so bad. Oh, well. Maybe one day I'll get a game where I get to go to a big seashell city underwater and a big clam protected by this fatty little guy. Ooh. Dolphin is stuttering a little bit. Whoa. Oh my god, I forgot that you spit little baby fishies. I don't remember the bosses in this game being as easy as they are, frankly. I truly don't. But, like, look at the health bar going down on this guy. Oh, I forgot you did that. Well, I guess it's not... Is it... Can I call them extremely easy if I only finished it fast because I was letting myself take hits? I was just playing a Fire Emblem game and thinking about how, like... So older Fire Emblem games, I feel like it's kind of hard to lose multiple units in a chapter. I don't mean literally hard, like it's difficult to do, but like usually old Fire Emblem games, like if you lose two people, like you don't ever want to sacrifice more than one unit at a time. So you don't, but I've been playing Binding Blade and it's like, am I really, do I want to replay that whole level to get one energy orb? No, I don't. Alright, oh, no, I don't want to stop the current emulation. I want to actually go back to the main menu. What was I going to say? I think my mom is talking outside. I don't know if you can hear that. I've been playing Binding Blade, and I very rarely, like sometimes I will set a save state at the beginning of a chapter, just go through and let like 3 units die to just like see what's the best path through the level, but I rarely lose more than 3 units. And then in a game like Triangle Strategy, where permadeath isn't a thing, sometimes I'll lose at all but 2 people and barely come out on top. And I think I prefer the Pyrrhic victory type of difficulty, because in like older Fire Emblem games, the difficulty is almost never immediate. You know, they're constantly throwing units at you. The difficulty is that if you don't take care of those units towards the end of the game, you either won't have enough left, or you'll you'll have a bunch of like super weak units and 2 strong ones that get overwhelmed. In a game like Triangle Strategy, every individual chapter is the challenge. And I don't actually know which one I prefer. But I think it's neat to have discussions about difficulty in games.